right, well, hey everybody, it's Grim Green from GrimGreen.com back here today. Thank you so much for joining me again. Topper Tuesday, the topper that we're going to be talking about this week. This is the Calix. This is the Calix version 2. Now, I did a review a long time ago for the Calix version 1. It was a mouth-to-lung tank. This is, additionally, a very well-made, expensive mouth-to-lung tank. But in order to get to know it just a little bit better, what we're going to do is go up close, as we always do. Quick, short, uppy, closey time. All right, yeehaw. Well, all these parts here, well, this represents the Calix version 2 mouth-to-lung tank. And yeah, we're just going to build it from bottom to top. I'm going to show you my build, and I'm going to show you how I wick it, and I'm going to show you the slightly fiddly juice fill technique you have to use. So right here is the base of the Calix, and this has a adjustable airflow with a screw that goes into that airflow, and that's it. Your 510 pin is on your build deck, and your build deck screws out of it. Now, at first glance, this is maybe kind of a wonky looking build deck, right? It's basically built for single coils. I don't know. You might be able to fit dual coils in there, someone more skilled than myself, but right now I have a 26 gauge single coil in there, and you have to center it on there. You wrap your leads around this screw, you wrap your lead around that screw, and you tighten it down. It's really not that difficult, and it's a little claustrophobic, but this is a single coil flavor RTA, so as long as it says you can fit a single coil in there, and I can fit a single coil in there, I'm satisfied. Sure, you may not be able to fit any aliens or dual fuse Claptons in there. This is really kind of a tank for just round wire. So you screw this whole jobber kind of into the base. Fairly simple. Make sure it's nice and snug, and you do have to take the base out to build on it. As you can see, when you screw it in, kind of covers up those screws there with the threads. But these right here, these are your juice flow holes right there, and juice just basically will go in and surround this whole deck. It's super easy to wick. Taking a look at that 510 pin, only use this on a regulated mod or something with an additional 510 pin. That is just not protruding enough to use it on something like the Noisy Cricket or a hybrid mech mod. Definitely not. Now, when I wick it, all I do, roll up some cotton, stick it through the hole, pull it all the way through, and then all I'm gonna do is cut it, put the side of my scissors right up against those threads, give it a cut there, spin it around, right up against the threads, give it a cut there. And then you just take your wick and you just push it. Just like that, push it, just like that. Literally could not be easier. And what's going to happen is juice is going to go in those holes. It's going to kind of fill up in this area. It's going to kind of fill up in this area back here. And more importantly, it's going to get to your wicks. This thing wicks like a champion. And all I'm going to do before I assemble the full tank is I'm just going to put some juice on here. This is some very well steeped Mission to Mars in 6 milligram. This is a mouth-to-lung tank, so I want a slightly higher nicotine level. I wish I had some 12 or 18 to put in here, but unfortunately I don't. I just have 6. Done. And then this is the chimney. See how tight that chimney is? That's why this is a flavor RTA. You can see that this screws down on here, and if you keep going, keep going, keep going, you're going to cover up the juice flow holes. And the tank goes outside of that, and he has a bunch of different styled tanks. This is just the one that I chose because I kind of like the way it looks. Additionally, he has some tanks that, look like this. There's a full glass one. There's some Pyrex ones. There's some plastic ones if you want to get into green neon-y stuff. So there's a lot of different ways to kind of make your tank look. But when your chimney's down covering the juice flow and your top is off, you can kind of see that's where you're going to be filling your juice. And a unicorn bottle, I have a feeling, would work so much better than this, but we're just going to bless some juice in here from our plastic tipped bottle. Now you take the top cap that has a very large O-ring in there and you screw it down over the top. Now you're basically done. You just have to reopen up that juice flow. So how do we do that? Well, you need to use a drip tip, and this is the part where it can be really hit and miss. You need to have a drip tip that fits in there very snugly. So this dot mod drip tip fits in there very snug. So when I turn just the drip tip, right there you see the words moving. Now that's opening up the juice flow. So give it a couple turns, make sure that that's nice and somewhat exposed. But now, unfortunately, you have a little gap here on your drip tip. It doesn't quite sit flush, but at least now you know your juice is wicking. So yeah, that's the Calix all put together, juiced and wicked. Let's get back out to normal view. Let's vape this guy.
Normal view, normal view.
So yeah, just Mouth to lung vaping for days. Mouth to lung is how I started out. It's how a lot of people started out, and I miss it. I genuinely miss it. And the Calix version 2 is just filling that need right now so well. Like I said, I wish I had some higher nicotine juice, but what are you going to do? 6 milligram in a mouth to lung tank is going to have to be fine. Now, the overall fit and finish construction quality of this tank is very nice. My only gripe is with the juice flow, juice fill system. If you don't have a drip tip that fits in there very, very snug. So drip tips with O-rings, no, those are not going to be any good. You need a pressure fit drip tip. Once you have a good pressure fit drip tip, you can boop, 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 close down your juice flow, unscrew the top, blow your juice in, close it all back together, and then boop, 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 open your juice flow again. If you have the right drip tip in there, it's a dream. If you have a slightly too small drip tip in there, it's a nightmare. You can't open your juice flow, and sometimes, not often, but sometimes when you close off your juice flow and you go to unscrew this top, the O-ring on the top, it's doing it right now, is strong and it holds the chimney. So as you unscrew this top, it's just unscrewing your chimney. So you kind of have to do this weird close down the juice flow thing, pull your drip tip out, unscrew the top a little bit, put your drip tip back in, close down the juice flow a little bit, take your drip tip off, unscrew the top, and then once it gets past those O-rings on top, then you can stick your juice in there, put it all back together, and then reopen your juice flow. The quality of mouth-to-lung vaping I'm getting from this is truly exceptional. It's really nice. I have the airflow turned down almost all the way. I get a nice, warm, rich flavor. The flavor on this is just out of control. But are you going to need your vape budget hands for this? I'm going to go ahead and say yeah. So I'm going to link down in the description to buy Leo Quality Vaping. The Calix V2 is 115 euros, which is 132 US dollars. Holy crap. That is just an expensive tank. Like I said, it's made really well. The fit and finish on it is nice. The deck, really easy to build on. The wicking, really easy. And the quality of vape I get from it is great. But that price, $132, oh man, my vape budget hands don't go that high for a single coil mouth to lung flavor RTA. And I know I'm going to get asked this question possibly 1,000+ times, but what about the Calix version 2 versus the K-Fun Mini V3? In this case, the K-Fun Mini V3 is going to win. It's cheaper and it gives you the same type of really good, flavorful mouth-to-lung experience. I think we know the answer to this, but if we're playing the Aliens game and aliens come take all of my vape gear, is the Calix V2 something I would seek out and buy to have in my vape lineup? Probably not. Not at $132 for a mouth-to-lung tank. I would probably go with the K-Fun Mini V3. It's overall less expensive, and it delivers that same sort of good mouth-to-lung flavor. I love vaping this Calix, and every time I vape it, I go, man, that is just an expensive tank. If you have a really high-end mod, if you have a single 18650 like Geppetto or a Melody box or something, and you want a really nice, tight draw, flavorful mouth-to-lung tank, the Calix, dude. The Calix is a high-end hemo tank. It makes no sense to rock a $132 tank on a $20 iStick Pico, but that's what I'm doing right now because I make the rules around here. Anyway, it is what it is. It's the Calix version 2. I'll have a link down in the description to where you can check it out if you're interested, but prepare to get out your vape budget hands. That's what I got, everybody. Let's keep on vaping.
That's enough.